What's going on, everybody? My name is Box, and welcome to Day 10 of Panduary. Today, the topic is Feast. So at the beginning of Battle for Azeroth, I was so upset at the use of the Haosian Pandaren in the faction conflict. Now, you guys know I've made many videos on Ji Firepaw, but the topic Feast has given me a chance to, well, make another. So Ji Firepaw was a great character in Mists of Pandaria, with an interesting arc that concluded in the Siege of Orgrimmar after almost being executed by one of Garrosh's Kor'kron. Sad yet interesting fact, if you wait long enough in the raid, the Kor'kron kills Master Firepaw right in front of Asa. And actually, I just wanted to point this out, my friend Jakai, who's been on other videos, had this happen to him on his first Siege of Orgrimmar run, and he thought this was the canon ending to the raid, which would have been really tragic. Anyway, Ji would live past the siege, however, he was a man of little to no actions after this, and that's something I think that disappointed a lot of Horde Pandaren players. I remember during the Legion epilogue, I was like, wait, where's our guy during the Feast cinematic? I was really upset about this. In the book, I believe he's present, but in the cinematic, it didn't feel good as a Pandaren player. Now, things wouldn't really get better for Ji Firepaw until a little bit later in the expansion. The only bit of dialogue we got from him was, well, that he wanted to punch dinosaurs. That was some great character development for him. It was at this point I felt a little bit bad about the current state of Pandaren and the storyline. Things would persist to get a little bit better later on in the expansion. During patch 8.1.5, I remember there was a big bit of uproar from the Pandaren community because Ji was left out of the War Campaign cinematic during Bane's arrest. Now, Blizzard ended up adding him and actually giving him a little bit of dialogue, which I was actually really happy with at the time. I was very disappointed that Ji initially didn't have anything there, but this was a good start to, I think, please Pandaren players. Now, as of patch 8.2, I can safely say things have gone way uphill for Ji Firepaw, and it feels like Blizzard really listened to a lot of the complaints people had about the character early on in the expansion. In patch 8.2, Ji Firepaw has been given some little development, which is really awesome. So, in 8.2, Ji Firepaw is basically made Ambassador of the Horde after the War Campaign. Now, this is a perfect role for the Pandaren because they make great diplomats, and Ji just kind of has this bubbly personality that makes him a great fit for it in the Horde. Ji Firepaw is also present at the end of the Rebellion storyline in the 8.2.5 War Campaign. He is found tending Bane Bloodhoof's wounds in Thunderbluff as the assault on Orgrimmar is going on. Around him are Haosian and Teshui monks, and I find this really awesome. Ji tells the player character that he couldn't go through another Siege of Orgrimmar. Now, the icing on the cake here is Ace is actually present as well, and the thing about Ji Firepaw being there at the end of the War Campaign, this was the best line that we got from him the whole expansion, and it was actual character development. It made me very happy and feel a lot better about Ji Firepaw's role in the expansion. The other awesome thing that Ji Firepaw says in patch 8.2.5 is that High Overlord Saurfang would have made a great Haosian. And I think this is really awesome because we don't get to hear about the ideologies that much anymore, and it's good to see Blizzard bringing him up. Now, I'm very excited to say in patch 8.3, Ji and Asa will be in the Vale defending it, and that makes me so happy. I want to give Blizzard some praise here, because I don't know if they had this plan from the start, or listened to a lot of player feedback, but this is really good, and again, it's a pretty good love letter to fans of Pandaria and the Pandaren in general, and it really goes a long way to make the faction Pandaren feel included in the storyline without making them the main focus. So, to be honest, I'm happy where this all went in Battle for Azeroth, and it made the Haosian feel more included in the Horde. By the end of the expansion, with all the different guards around Orgrimmar and cameos and cinematics, it made the Pandaren feel more included in their faction. So I know what a lot of you might be thinking. Box, how does this really relate to the topic Feast? And I want to say, if they do an epilogue feast at the end of Battle for Azeroth, I'm really hopeful that Ji Firepaw will be there. I think as a character, he has a lot of potential, and I hope Blizzard uses him more in the future. And I do want to say the one thing I love about the whole Ji Firepaw incident is I've made some great friends on YouTube through this, awesome people, and I've just overall really enjoyed the faction even more. So anyway guys, I want to thank Kath on Twitter for creating this awesome Pandaren event. I encourage you to go on there, post some artwork, post your own videos, post a pizza with the hashtag Panduary or hashtag Panduary 2020, and I'll see you next time.